Hello and welcome to IGN Arena League in Review.
League in Review.
League
of Legends.
League year in review?
It is a League year in review.
There we go.
This is one of our special podcasts. We did one last week for Dota, and then we decided we should do one for League of Legends as well.
It's a pretty important game.
Yeah.
It's very early in the morning. It's going to be very quick because we're all very busy before going on vacation. But I went through and kind of looked at all the patch notes for the year, and I just kind of want to go through and talk about what kind of changed this year, and at least for League. 2013 was kind of a slow year for them, I would say. There wasn't a whole lot. They had the World Finals, and those were pretty big. But there wasn't a lot of champs released in 2013.
No.
This year, there were so many when we were talking about it this morning. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's been a landslide of new people to play. So
yeah.
So we started off with 4.1 this year. Every year they go through with their new patch. It starts with a new main number, and so 4.1 had just very small things like changes to their vision and how it worked, and how Lux's system or spells illuminated the darkness because that was part of her kit.
Oh,
so
that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
So they actually introduced dynamic lighting, which was really cool, rather than static lighting, which they had, or for at least for Fog of War.
It's crazy how much, how quickly that just becomes norm. You're just oh, this is how Vision has worked.
Yeah.
And when you think back, you're like, this is how Vision worked. But it's
Even in the 2013, going back a little farther, we had changes to the brush. We had changes.
Yep.
We remember how it used to be just 2 chunks of brush. Now it's those 3 chunks.
Yep.
And just it's weird to think that the brush used to be much larger, and there used to be different sections of it, which is very strange to think about. But from there, we went into 4.3 with the release of Vel'Koz.
Oh man, that's crazy.
that guy.
I bought him immediately. I still feel like he's a good champ. You don't see him played very often.
Yeah, I just feel like he was a very underwhelming. Going into the rest of the champs this year, I felt were a lot more mobility based. We'll get into it with Callista, but
Azir.
Yeah.
But all of them had these mobility based kits. And Vel'Koz just felt like a caster mage of old, which is cool. There's nothing wrong with that. It just with the way that the game was going, I think he's kind of fallen by the wayside.
He just feels like artillery, and that's not really pretty much the only mage now at the end of the year that I feel can compete as artillery and still be relevant is Xerath. I can't think of any other
Ziggs. I think
Ziggs,
but Ziggs is also a very specific comp.
But he's got mobility as well with you can bounce off his bomb.
Yeah.
Vel'Koz doesn't have that, and he's basically a geometry lesson waiting to happen with the way all of his spells work.
Yeah.
I like him, but I just don't play him because of the mobility issue.
Along with that came the first of many of this year of Kassadin tweaks, because Kassadin has been. He has a quote. It says "balance in all things,"
and he's got a 96% ban rate.
Yeah.
He did. I don't know what he has now.
Yeah, I mean, they kind of switched him over to more of an off tank. I would kind of because people started building Rod of Ages on him a lot, and you can play him top lane now.
You can play a lot of mages top lane now. That I feel like I don't think that was a new meta, but it came back into favor. I feel like it was halfway through the year you started to see Rise a lot more in the top lane.
Yes.
I mean, we saw some competitive Lulus in top lane.
Yeah, it was great because we started seeing mages as kind of utility rather than pure burst casters, which has been really fun to see. Continuing on even with that, 4.3 had a lot. Heimerdinger got his visual overhaul, which I think was one of the first big ones that they put out, where he switched from just having the brain to actually the hair brain.
Yeah. Man, this has been a big year.
Yeah,
It's been a massive year.
This has been a really big year.
So much new stuff, so many new champions.
Riot's just been killing it.
The lore is amazing.
They'll keep getting my money if they keep doing this stuff.
Yeah, I'm happy. They're you know what, guys, this doesn't make sense. Let's just redo it and make it amazing.
Yeah.
And it's funny because I talked about, I think, earlier this year where I was like, man, Riot doesn't really care about lore anymore. And I was proven wrong because they were just started doing it differently. They started doing it more event-based stuff, more or just small things that hey, we'll release a champion, but we'll also release a trailer that is just kind of a flavor piece.
Even a few little episodic series too for each kind of section.
Yeah, I feel like they're taking a more theatrical approach to it. I don't know if that's the right descriptive word, but that's what it feels like because you get all these awesome videos. You guys remember the Until Dawn? Was it Until Dawn? Yeah, that one was amazing. Maybe I'm biased because Darius was in it, but who knows?
And then the final thing from 4.3 was the Team Builder beta.
Oh, Team Builder.
Which is, again, my still favorite feature that League has added ever. Like, it's still the best way to play League, I think.
Smart.
Without a doubt, it's I do not do normal like draft or blind pick at all.
Unless you're playing ranked.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
But yeah, I really love, like I was talking about right before we started, it was kind of ugly, but it was one of those things where like we got it in the game, and now it works really well. The way that like you can see what roles people are looking for, and then choose champs based on that. Like it's really, really like an excellent learning tool.
It also
Absolutely.
makes League easier to play on your own. So the big thing with MOBAs is you always want a 5-stack. You don't ever want to just jump in. I mean, it's a pain in the ass to play with people who are you don't know, and they're gonna have some like crazy play style, and they're like, oh, I want to use this person, and you're
I'm
fighting.
gonna be
over
Ash mid,
roles.
or I'm gonna feed.
Right,
Yeah,
exactly.
those
So
guys.
it's dumb. So having that is really awesome.
Yeah, so from there, the next couple patches, 4.6 had the Twitch visual update. Twitch got feet. You remember he used to just have like the little, like I would call it a skirt a little bit because it just didn't show his feet. Then we went to the Karthus visual update, which was fantastic.
They've had so many visual updates. Jeez.
It looks so good.
Yeah, again, and this is all I think kind of leading up to, which we'll get into, the Summoner's Rift re-release.
Well, they reworked a lot. Like visual updates on champions, they reworked Sion completely.
Yeah, we're getting to that. 4.10 had the Nidalee rework.
Oh yeah.
Where she, I feel like now is like more viable and less viable in the way of you don't just use her spear and like try to just poke down forever.
Bruiser in Italy is seemed to be a lot more popular. You know, like the tanky cat. Like, I enjoy playing her. She's a lot of fun. The running, I hate fighting her, but I enjoy playing her because it's like when you fight her and she takes off running, you're like, well, if I don't catch her in 2 or 3 seconds, this is just going to be painful.
Yep.
4.1 or 4.11 ranked duo queuing with people one full tier above and below. So if you're silver 3, you could queue with
Gold 3.
No, it was bronze 5 or gold 1.
Oh.
So you couldn't basically do like boosting anymore.
Oh yeah.
Which is actually, I think,
fair.
They do that in Dota with ELO brackets basically.
Oh yeah.
But it helps like I want to get to platinum, so you just have your platinum friend boost you up.
Yeah, exactly. No, I think it's smart. It's really nice. When I used to do WoW Arena a lot, you would always get these like I was never very good, but I'd be like 1800. And then someone I'm fighting, I'm like, you're definitely not 1,800, but your partner is probably like 2,600 rating.
Yeah.
And that's just the most frustrating thing in the world.
Yeah. Which, again, these are like small, like improvements, but they make a lot better difference for like people who are playing. And it's like, well, I don't want to, I'm not just going to get wrecked by someone whose ELO is much higher than mine.
Yep.
4.13, Sona rework, which I think was very much needed because Sona was very much lacking.
Well, she's like right now. Right before we came in here, I was watching her get played in the IM Cologne. Like, she's super powerful. I think I need to play her more because I really like support. So
yeah, she's awesome.
She's good.
She's one of the better ones, I feel like.
I usually play Thresh, Braum, or Leona. Those are my tanky support style.
So then we finally get to, which is actually a good like chunk of time before their champion released. But the next release was Gnar.
Gnar came before Braum?
Cute. No, I thought Braum came first.
Oh no, he's missing my notes. Yeah, so Braum was probably earlier in there.
Yeah, Braum. I love Braum as a support, and that was a great champion release. Like, he's so viable. I mean, I almost see him. It's safe to say you'll see him like every third game you play as a support. I really like Braum. Like, their list of champions or what they released this year, they're all really, really strong. Like, the most underwhelming one is probably Vel'Koz.
Yeah.
And he's not even that underwhelming because a good Vel'Koz, as soon as that ult comes out, everyone has to scatter.
Yep.
That laser beam vision.
Yeah.
But yeah, we were talking about Gnar. I really like Gnar as well. His kit is really interesting. He makes for a really, really fun to watch top laner. You look like you agree.
Yeah.
I just like him.
Oh yeah. So just for clarification, Braum was released in 4.17 or 4.7. So much earlier. There was a little bit of a gap, but yeah, it was.
So Vel'Koz, Braum, Gnar.
Yeah, it's been towards the later part of the year when they've just slew of people. It's just like, oh, hey, new champions.
Next patch was Azir.
Oh wow, yeah, that's right.
Yeah, so Azir was an interesting champ because he was very interesting in terms of his kit and like his playstyle was kind of something we've never seen as like a is more of like I would consider more of a Dota style champ where you have minions and like you have to place them. Now that there's a little bit more micro involved with it. But he was really broken when he came out, like just incredibly broken. Where like you could bounce people on top of his wall. Do you remember that? You could show people into wall and they would just like bounce, and they eventually fall off his wall.
His I just want to get a gif of you going bounce. No, but his ult broke the game. Remember, you could use his ult and it would push the tower AI out of the tower. So you would ult the tower, and then the AI would get pushed out of the tower, and then the tower no longer functioned. Like, you could be standing right underneath it, and it wouldn't attack you.
Yeah, so he was an interesting champion. I think a cool champion to challenge to challenge Riot into like
absolutely, yeah.
Like changing the way that they had to code stuff, which is just like a fascinating, like even thinking about it, like how did that even happen? And I'm not blaming them. It's just like this is a fascinating thing that you could push the AI out of something.
Well, it's. Azir I liked because it's so different, like we said. Like, he's so different from the rest of the champions that they released this year and that are on the roster. And that seems to be like a trend with these champions that were released this year. Like, Kallista's really different. Nara is really...
She's awesome.
You mentioned you like playing ADC. I'm not a big ADC player, so... Yeah. As long as whoever had a hand in designing Azir, I would like him to do more, because... him or her, to do more, because if that's what they can do with a champ like Azir... And his playstyle fits his lore so well. Like, he's a commander. He's the former emperor of Shurima. And his the fact that he's, like, commanding minions, that's really cool. I'd like to see more of it.
Yep. From there, we went to a Soraka and Victor rework. I haven't played much of Victor, and I kind of forget exactly the details. I think it was a lot of just tweaking to his kit overall.
His kit,
yeah, especially... It was the items. Like, he has an item that he always builds, and I think it was tweaking the values on those and the way that those functioned a little bit.
He's a really high skill cap character. I have a friend, Hammy, who plays him really well. And if it's like one of those characters, like there's a lot. Actually, every champ's like that. But if you play him really well, it's overwhelming.
Yeah,
like, really hard to fight.
And then Soraka, which is I think a needed rework where it's kind of cool. She's like the ambulance now, where she has like a speed boost if you're like low.
If she's running towards you and you're low,
Yep. She can trade using her Q now, which heals her, but it also, when she uses her heal, it also takes health away from her, which I think is really cool.
And her Q does more damage the less health she has.
Yes. So that was really cool. Have you guys played it?
Yeah, it gives her more utility. So, makes it a little bit more important.
She provides a lot of sustain to bot lane and team fights. I really like
having her in ARAM is the best thing.
Yeah, she's really good.
Yes. From there, I think this is Kyle's favorite patch, which was the re-release or the complete rework of Sion.
Oh yeah,
and it's so good now.
And the release of Dunkmaster Darius.
Oh, dude, I literally like left work at like right at 5, which most people don't do, and like went home and I bought Dunkmaster Darius, and I think I just spammed games with him. I love Darius. I love Dunkmaster Darius. He's totally up my alley.
But yeah, the Sion rework, which is, I think, one of their biggest like projects. They have, and you can go online and they have a list of reworks they're working on. But I think this is one of where the only thing they really kept. They kept like some of his core, who he is, but they really reworked like his ult. Again, is one of those things. Like, it's the mobility of this year is crazy.
They seem to really focus on making the play style of the champion match the lore of the champion. Like, when you play Sion, I feel like I'm playing an undead juggernaut. Like, he just lumbers. He's gigantic. He's the biggest model in the game. Like, when you hit his ult, you're like, hey, I'm coming. Get the hell out of my way. I'm on my way, and I'm going to be trouble. I really like him. I would, I think he needs a little bit of tweaking. I think his Q takes too long. I know you can charge it and drop it, but I feel like it needs to be faster to get a full charge. It's too easy to get out of the way, especially with how important mobility is. But that's just personal opinion.
So we're gonna take a quick break, and we'll be right back we're gonna finish up with one of the final patches of the season, and then we'll talk about esports a little bit.
Sounds good.
Yep.
And we're back.
Hello.
That was really
wow.
That was
loud. There was a weird echo in here when you did that too.
New Summoner's Rift.
Oh, geez. I really like it.
It's so beautiful.
I like it.
I love it so much. Yeah. I'm glad that they redid it.
I like the new jungle. I like everything about it. I like the new team fighting that comes from it.
It's just so pretty.
It's so pretty. It runs smoother. Just everything about it is better.
Yeah, they changed up all the camps.
They give like smite buffs depending on who you smite.
So jungle has been something they kind of redid year by year, because I think they're still finding their footing with that, because they want to make it more. Make it like you don't do blue then wolves then
make it less about routine.
Yeah, then the same path. They want to be able to like, hey, you can choose. You have choice in the jungle rather than what is the most efficient path.
Who are you going to smite? What are you going to save your smite for? Where are you going?
You can smite champs now.
Yes. Oh yeah. That's
which is very strange.
Yeah.
Or at least one of the paths you can smite a champ. And it's just I think that's what League needed as a whole, and to like even to be like having people be like, hey, you should come play League. They're like, it looks
old.
Oh, yeah.
It's very cartoony, but I feel like they're cementing their style a bit more with the reworks and stuff. It's not so. A lot of people just say that the style is cartoony.
Yeah,
and
it's more whimsical.
It is, but now it's a little bit more. Yeah, it's a little bit brighter. It's not so dark. It's not so just like weird poppy colors. It feels better now. I think.
and I think along with that, they updated. I think almost every single champion now has got a like texture rework. Like not a complete like overhaul, but they got a texture rework. So like it kind of fits more with the map now, which is very, very cool. Just for them to be like, oh, we need everything to. A visual consistency.
Yes.
Yeah, I really like it. I like the champion updates. They look really good. The map is really good. Like I mentioned before, like the jungle rework is really cool. The fact that you have to decide like, oh, am I going to smite the birds, or am I going to smite the raptors? Am I going to smite the raptors, or am I going to smite the golems? Am I going to smite the toad? What am I going to save it for? Because it's like, do you want the ward clearing vision? Do you want heavy hands? Do you want the poison armor, the thorn mail, whatever you want to call it? I like it. It made me jungle a lot more. Same with Team Builder made me play ADC a lot more. Those are two roles I didn't.
And then from there it kind of gets towards the end of the season. Like we're into now the more experimental patches. And we'll kind of, in the new year we'll see the new patch come out. We missed a couple things that Miranda brought up. We missed
all the awesomeness.
Earth, yeah, we missed Hexakill, we missed Earth, we missed Ascension, we missed...
Yeah, I mean,
they were kind of...
So my favorite things about League, which are the events.
Yes.
By far, Riot does such a good job with them, always. Like, that's something I feel like is always missing from other MOBAs. Like, they do them every now and then, but... Riot is spot on with them, and they make them a big deal, and they make them fun, and it's nice.
Get rewards.
Yeah, like special icons and all those sort of things.
Yep.
So.
Yeah, Earth was 80% cooldown reduction, and nothing costs mana anymore.
I was the happiest person. I can't explain my feelings.
Because it was that mode where it was like once you hit like max rank on Lux's ult, you could be firing a laser across the map every 10 seconds. Or it was. And it was just so much fun, and this is like the mode that I think everyone
wants back
in the community wants back. And we've talked about where like you can't really keep modes around like that because they just become another queue.
Just another thing, yeah. It's nice that they do keep a good rotation of different kind of events and different kinds of modes, and like they're creative and they're just so different. Like you have to change your play style, and that's a lot of fun because then it's like a good exercise, just something different. And yeah, when they take it away, you're like, okay, when is it coming back? I want Ultra Rapid Fire back.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because the appeal on most of these modes is that it's not all the time.
Yep.
You're not just, and it's, if you left them on all the time, you would dilute the queue base or the player base while they're trying to queue.
Yeah,
really.
You'd be queuing for 20 plus minutes just to find a group, which is like, you want them to be able to be like quick, fun, fast.
If my queue is more than like 2.5 minutes, I'm irritated.
So I didn't play much of Ascension.
I played a little.
It was fun. I really liked it.
Oh, I was gone, so that's like that was during the period where I was traveling a lot. So do you guys play it like?
I played it. I liked it. It was really entertaining, but I didn't like it as much as like Hexakill or for Legend of the Poro King now. Like but it was fun, and it definitely was really cool with the whole Shurima getting not reintroduced, but it became really like.
The focus of at least for this year, like Shrimmer, I think has come up a couple times.
Azir, Rek'Sai. Now we didn't even mention Rek'Sai when we're talking about new champs.
Oh man, God, I'm the word guys. I'm really bad at writing notes, guys.
There's just too many.
Yeah, it was. It's been.
Do you guys think they are releasing too many champions?
No.
I feel like maybe they need to slow down a little bit.
No.
We got 2 champions in November.
You don't put that evil on any of us. You take that back.
That is a lot. It's just. You don't want to be flooded with too many. I mean, you already have like over 100. That's a lot of people.
I disagree. I think they could if they released a new champion every month, I would be happy.
So
I disagree with that.
How do you keep up with that then? Like, how do you keep everyone balanced, and how do you manage all these people? Like, do you think they should take people away from, like, well, you can't take people away because, like, I mean, like, even if it's, like, temporary, like, okay, these people can't be played for this long. Like, the rotation of available champions, like, within the pot.
Oh.
Are we talking about, like, per week? I definitely think they should increase the number of free champions per week, because I think it's at 10 right now.
Sure.
Yeah. But I don't really know. You're talking about, like, balance completely, right?
Like, yeah, and also I feel like you might be just getting too many people and too many champions. Like, there's just too much. Like, I mean, I'm just kind of worried how much they're going to release. It's when do you stop? That's the thing. That's what I'm wondering. It's like, when do you stop, and how do you manage all of those champions? How do you keep them all balanced with each other? Like, that's a lot of work.
I do think a lot of champions have, like, they keep on balancing some, but a lot of champions just have fallen by the wayside. I don't know when we've seen a Udyr update. Like, I think we probably saw some earlier this year, but it's been a long time since, like, they patched him. But maybe they feel he's in the right place. But
right. So then I feel like you might, once you get, say, like 200 champions, like, people just feel irrelevant. It's like, what do you do at that point? Yeah. That's just...
I'm interested to see, because I think they've talked about a lot of their champions. They're on that list of they need to rework them.
Yep.
Because I think they've said, like, they kind of have fallen out where they want the game to go, or where, like, it will continue to go.
And I feel like that'll happen a lot more if they keep releasing, like they do with the new champions. I mean, it's fun. It's cool to see new people, but maybe they should pace themselves a little more with how they're releasing people.
Yeah, I mean, we've talked about it in the past where it's like they finally hit the point where it takes however long to prototype. And
I think I read it was like 6 to 8 months.
Yeah. So it takes a while, and I think they maybe hit a stride where they their team got up to speed.
Yeah.
So maybe in early next year we'll see a kind of a dead zone where there won't be a ton of champs, and then maybe we'll see some more after that. I mean, like there've been some like leak stuff about like was Aoshin, like the dragon.
I think he's been like in the ether for a long time.
Yeah, and I think they've said like a lot of stuff gets prototyped but just never makes it to like the actual concept phase where they're actually like they maybe prototype it but they're like, no, this isn't working, and they'll abandon it.
Yeah.
So maybe we'll see like a dry spell in the beginning of the year and then ramp back up. But I don't know. I mean, new champions are always so exciting, at least in the moment.
Yeah, it's always very exciting.
Yeah.
But I just worry that number gets too high.
Yeah.
And, like, what do you do at that point? How do you manage all your champions?
Yeah.
We're due for a new energy champion.
We are. Recently, we've been seeing like people being like, "Where is it? We want more ninjas."
Yes,
because it has to be a ninja for whatever reason.
Yeah,
if you're an energy champ.
Yeah, that's true. Well, yeah, Lee Sin. I mean, does Lee Sin count as a ninja? Would you count him as a ninja? Yeah, that's rough, right? You're like, that's kinda.
He's a kung fu dude.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Zed, Shen, Akali. Would Talon count as a ninja?
He is, but I wouldn't consider him. He's not.
He doesn't feel like the rest. He's like
he's yeah.
This derailed quick. Like, what counts as a ninja?
This week's topic: are we ninjas?
Are we ninjas? Do we count as ninjas?
Moving on to kind of everything outside of the actual game. This League Esports this year were pretty great.
Oh man, just amazing. The worlds were amazing. It makes me so happy. Yeah,
we had so I kind of broke it down by I didn't really do OGN or LPL just because I don't follow those scenes all that closely. C9 and TSM kind of dominated NALCS this year, of course.
C9
blue.
Yeah. I think the coolest thing this year was we had LMQ, which was a bunch of players from the East came out and they started a team, and they did really well. They came during a summer split and did okay. Like they didn't top any of the seasons, but they kind of showed, hey, we're here, we're dominant.
The North American esports in general, the scene for North American esports, really making me excited. The North American League scene is also really exciting.
Yes, I think CLG. They dropped a couple places. They've been doing okay this year. I think they had a rough second half of the year.
Didn't they just get Skara as one of their coaches?
Yeah, Skara is now coaching them. There was a very controversy surrounding that, including like miscommunication with Riot and like how they got him from Dignitas. Well, he was still there.
I hate the people that are like they act like a conspiracy around it and they get so mad about like the drama of the changes. Like this isn't a really fresh industry, and these aren't like a bunch of really young people doing really complex and hard jobs, working with rules.
And it's like they're very small organization. Like Riot's not a small organization, but the teams are small organizations, and I think communication within those like. In football, you have a staff of probably 100 people, maybe on a team, like just managing contracts and stuff like that.
Yeah,
it's you probably have maybe a staff of 1 or 2 dealing with that stuff for esports on the teams. Maybe
it's people, and it's unfortunate for esports, but people hold it to the standard of like the other what they can relate it to when it comes to like competition and watching like competitive events.
And people have to understand this is still so new
and so young. In America, it's so young. Like these other like European scenes and Korea and China and all these other scenes, they're really well developed, and it's already like culturally cultivated on that side.
Right, like they have a better handle on it, and whereas our teams over here in North America, and that kind of a testament to that is how many teams you see in esports from America, especially in MOBAs. Like there's not a lot of big teams, and that's because it's still new. It's still new here, and there's still
You can't
growing.
even say esports in North America without making people angry. That's a whole nother topic of conversation.
We talked about on the DotaCast, which you should also go listen to because that was some good stuff, about player associations and how like North America doesn't really have that quite yet, and how it requires funding from teams and players.
You mean like a comprehensive player association?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Like where you have players, and that's something that comes in 5 years' time. But right now, it's just not. There's not a place for it. There's just not the structure and money. Again, money it always comes down to money.
Well, I think now that esports are starting to gain traction in North America, it's going to be nothing but good things for the esports community. Just by the nature of, I hate to beat my chest and be patriotic, but like of the way like marketing and funding works in America. Like once people start seeing that, oh man, esports, there's a lot of money in it, like an $11 million prize pool for Dota, a lot of money in it for the like league. Like as soon as people start seeing that, then it's just going to explode.
I mean, you've started seeing esports being valued in some colleges. Like there are league teams. Like
Twitch bought. Sorry to cut you off, but I'm 100% supportive of that.
So much this year that has grown, and it's cool. Like I've read a lot of stories about like colleges offering scholarships for people who are really good at league, and they have their own teams, and they travel because Riot does support that community as well. Like they have their own like collegiate tournament,
and that's 100% reflective of the support Riot gives their game and their community is reflected in how fast it's growing and how well it's received and how people can choose it. If there's something they really like to do, people can pursue it, and it's not like the end of their career.
Right.
It really exciting. Amazon buys Twitch. That's awesome for esports. Twitch bought EG and Alliance.
Yeah, they bought GG, the company GG.
Yeah, which owns Evil Geniuses and Alliance. Like all these teams are getting sponsored by like huge brands. In the funny enough, Pornhub sponsors a team now.
As in Spain.
Yeah, it's just crazy. It's
we talked about in the past, like even this is completely off topic of League, but like that Sony like esports thing. And, There's some good esports stuff this year. I want to talk about Worlds real quick because Worlds was there's such a fantastic build up to that tournament, and of just how like they're like, hey, it's not just this tournament we built. They had that like Guerrillas style trailer with
Warriors.
They were with the
Imagine
Dragon song, which was just fantastic.
That was so cool how they did that. Just for some League of Legends thing. It's like,
well, they're big League fans. Cool. That's the tie-in. Like they play League of Legends, so it was like, so good, and it was so much hype. Like Riot's marketing, whoever it was behind that needs to get a raise because he's clearly doing his job well.
And it was just fun. Like we kept on seeing these interviews with players, and when they were in Taipei and a bunch of other places, and it felt like the Olympics, and like just a small version of the Olympics where they had these interviews, and it kind of felt like Dan Rather interviewing like Olympian on top of this tower, and it was like I think it was Jat was doing the interviews, Jacoby, one of the two, and it just felt like epic, but not in the way where it's just like epic gaming. It was like, oh no, this is like professional, and it feels like
I love it.
they're asking pointed questions, and like they made the players feel like stars without like making it
Ego stroking.
Yeah, it was just really fascinating.
I liked it. I agree 100%. The production value was amazing. I liked that they brought a really human element to the players. I like that a lot. It's
so important. I feel like this past year too, especially in the U.S., we've been able to care more about players in esports and teams. And before, like when I watched, I was like, oh, that's kind of cool. I just want to see some professional people play. And now I'm like, I want to see this team play.
Yeah, exactly.
I want to see. I care about these players.
I really like it. I think reminding people that play League that the people you're playing with are human is really nice.
Yes.
I have a big gripe with toxicity within the MOBA community. I don't think I'm revolutionary having an issue with that, but it's like making things about the players being human, about it being like their dream. We even saw some stuff about their parents. Was that with Worlds where like the parents would talk about, or am I confusing my documentaries? But you've seen it like where it would be like, oh well, what do you feel about your?
So there was the Road to Worlds documentary leading up to Worlds, which was also like another one of the like we're making this an event rather than this is like hey, it's just a tournament and it's over. It's like you had beyond just the games, you had like all the cool stuff leading up to it.
Yeah, 100. It's good because that's what we care about. Like. I'm probably in the generation that just started caring, like the first generation of the people that care about League, but now it's like completely wrapped into these younger generations of kids, like like the high schoolers, the early college players. Like that's what they care about. They want to know about the esports scene. They want to know about the players. They want to know about the build-up doing it.
Yeah, and we've definitely seen even like every couple months there'll be something that pops up where like mainstream media starts covering.
Yeah, the
esports.
New York Times covered a little thing about League of Legends, and they had this really cool. Because it's kind of like a graphic thing where they showed like a bunch of paths of people in Summoner's Rift, and it was just really awesome.
Yes, 10,000 games of League, and it was all in graphs, like where all the kills occur.
Like where all the kills, all the different paths. It was
I really like that. Yeah.
Awesome.
Well, we saw New York Times covered a lot of the esports stuff. A lot of TI4 was on ESPN.
Yep.
Although. That was more.
It was like ESPN 4 or something.
Yeah,
the Ocho or the Ocho. No,
the Ocho.
So like we didn't talk about this on the Dota one, but yeah, the thing on ESPN that they actually showed was not great.
It wasn't.
No, it was.
I didn't watch it. It was Dota.
It was I think produced by Valve, and there were some like production issues, like the sound on some of it was pretty bad. And if you didn't know what Dota was, they did an awful job explaining. Like, hey, like there were a lot of people. Like I remember reading some tweets like of people.
What is this on?
Why is this on ESPN? And if you gave context, they just didn't give context.
Yeah,
right.
Which I think, context is always important. If you're going to bring something to the mainstream that doesn't understand this, you have to give context.
Yep.
At Worlds, Korea won. Samsung White and Blue, and then dominated the tournament, and then then it was OMG and Starhorn Royal Club were the other two big teams, and I didn't even make it into the top 4.
Yeah, okay, so I know people are gonna be like, well, of course Korean teams won, but like
no, but they're the better teams. Like there's no defining that. They always win.
The whole culture behind
there's a reason they are the better teams.
Yes, because it's cultivated. There's like this is a respectable thing to do. Like be a pro gamer. That's wonderful. Their academies are better. What they do is better.
Yeah, they have again like we're I think coaches are finally becoming a thing. LCS is now acknowledging coaches as part of the staff, and they're allowed to be on stage next year.
And they have a microphone. They have a headset too.
Yeah.
Now.
So now they can help during pits and bans, which will just be the coolest thing. I'm super excited for in 2015 about esports. But yeah, again, they just have a better
system
setup for making and cultivating talent, which is fine. And it's really entertaining to watch because you still had C9 didn't make the top 4, but they still put up an awesome fight, and so did TSM.
I like C9. I like C9 as a team.
They're one of my favorite.
I like their entire team, like all their teams. I like C9 for League, and I like them a lot for Dota.
Yeah,
I got to meet them at IM. Well, the owner at IM San Jose. He was super cool, super cool dude. It was that was a really cool experience. I enjoyed that a lot, and watching them there was amazing.
Yep. Anything else you guys want to bring up about 2014?
I know
in League of Legends.
I don't want to say no because as soon as I say no, I'm going to think of 400 things as the camera turns off.
Of course.
I just really like all the champions. Like
Champion of the year?
New release champion of the year. What would you... So the list is it's Braum, Azir,
Gnar.
So Gnar is the
Kalista,
cutest.
Vel'Koz. He's a Yordable.
I think it's Braum.
Ah, there you go. You got
I
it.
like it.
Braum for me.
Braum?
Yeah.
I'm gonna
I
have to
agree.
go Braum. Yeah,
Yep.
Braum is amazing.
Yeah, like in terms of like why I love support champs. I love new support champs. Like Thresh, we've talked about Thresh ad nauseum, but it's like Thresh is the end all be all support champ.
Yep.
Oh yeah, I agree. I really like the new theme with support is being really aggressive as a support, like roaming. Supports also, support the jungle for the first like couple levels. That's not uncommon. And Braum is like Braum and Thresh and Leona are like the three really aggressive champs.
And we got Morgana's a little bit more defensive, but she can have her aggressive thing where like
you get caught in that bind.
Level 6, and like you can just like I'm just gonna walk into your team. And you're all frozen for a couple of seconds. And you're if you're playing with like Lucian or something, you can just walk all over them.
You get caught in that bind. It's like, well, okay, better hope I don't die because then I'm running right afterwards. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
So all of us were unanimously Braum.
Yeah.
Yep.
More Braum, please.
More Braum. Yeah.
Good guy, Braum.
Yeah, I like Braum.
If you have a problem, you come to Braum.
And the Dragon Slayer Braum skin, one of my favorite as well.
Do you guys have favorite skin of this year?
Ooh, you know my answer.
I know your answer. Miranda.
I think Varus got a new skin. It was really awesome. Varus is one of my favorite. So
I've
I'm
never
biased.
played it.
Was that the snow one?
No, that wasn't Arctic
Was it like
Ops.
I don't remember which one it was. Maybe it was.
Was it Arctic Ops? Was that
I'm
this
pretty
year?
sure that's the new
Let's
one.
Google
Yeah.
it. You tell me your skin.
I really like the new the arcade skins.
Yes. Yeah. Well, okay, which is your favorite arcade skin?
Those are really good. Those are so good.
Is it Hecarim?
Was Hecarim this year though?
Was he arcade this year? I know he's an
It may
arcade
have
skin.
been this year. It was the final boss skin for
Vygar.
for Vygar, yeah, which I just absolutely love. Like they had a really cool tease, and like really cool video for that. I think that's my favorite new skin of this year.
Yeah, Arctic Ops was this year.
Oh, it was? Okay, yeah. That's awesome. Yeah. So I know we joked about it, but mine's Dunk Master Darius.
Yeah.
I just love it. The trash talking is just the best.
Just the amount of NBA Jam jokes and videos that came out of that skin, it just makes me so happy.
Oh God! And then I love that his recall animation that he just plants his axe and then like bounces and then just dunks. It's the greatest.
Yeah, like again, we could go on forever. Popstar.
Yeah, Popstar Ari. That was a year ago.
Oh, I was like, that's this year.
So I didn't think it was this year.
Ari is
whatever.
Ari is the best. That's my cat's name.
Yes, your cat is named Ari.
Well, my cat's name is Darius.
Well, your name.
You need to get a pet and name it.
What would you name it?
Yeah.
I want to get a dog and name it Volley Bear.
That's pretty good. Volley.
Or Volley. Volley would be an awesome dog
Yeah.
name.
Little dog, but it has to be like a corgi or something.
Oh my God, I want a corgi. And on that note, that is League of Legends Year in Review 2014. There'll be a lot more stuff coming up in the new year for IGN Arena. Our email is arenapodcast@ign.com. Please send us emails. We'll be back. You guys may be podcasting like in January.
Early January.
Like
I will not be
next year.
back. I will be on the other side of the planet. But you guys should do an episode and talk about all the cool stuff you've been doing over the break.
I'm glad we're diluting the Dota with some League.
Yeah. So have a happy holidays.
Yep.
Hang out with your family, do some fun stuff.
Play some League.
Go play League.
Go play League.
Go play League.
Thanks, guys.